Hello, and in today's episode, we will be talking about, well, customer insights, because what I'm researching right now. And I continued reading The Rise of Superman, which is a book that I have been reading about getting into the flow or getting into the zone. So, those are our insights today. Let me check how we are doing. Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Let me just check if we're live. Yep, we're live. Yep. So, let me just. Okay. So I'm studying this right now, understanding customers. It's part of my work. Part of any user experience design work is to understand customers, to get insights from them. And there's this nice selection of techniques to gain customer insights that I think is pretty good to use as an example when explaining to stakeholders or to other people why and how to do um, getting value proposition for your products or services, and that's by understanding customers. This is research. This is doing research, and he has nice. This is from O'Reilly. So I tried out this O'Reilly service, learning.o'reilly.com, and I was just searching for customer experiences, and my boss had sent this link to me, and it's pretty nice collection actually of research, um, of books to read, which is a lot of them are interactive. So I'm trying to, I'll, when I get a chance, I'll take a look at that a bit more. But I wanted to get into this because it is something I'll be presenting today. It's related to the work that I'm doing in my day job. For those who don't know, my current day job, I am a customer experience manager for one of the big conglomerates here in Manila, Philippines, and I will be doing this. I teach this to the different internal customers that we have. Yeah, so I wanted to say that these are nice examples of techniques to gain customer insights. The first technique is being a data detective, which is built on existing with mostly desk research. So you look at secondary desk research reports and customer data you already have and provide the great foundation for getting started. Look at data outside your industry for study analogs, opposites, and adjacencies. Now, it's a great foundation for further research. Yes, the weakness is its static data from a different context. So, this is a good starting point. I agree. We have done this, and I think when people think about research, this is the first thing that they think about, and you can't blame them. That's how people think. Let me just, yeah, you can't blame them. That's how people think, and that's normally enough. For if you're in college or if you're high school, this kind of research is probably enough. However, if you really want to get more insightful data, you need to sometimes go beyond this. Okay? So next is the journalist, and the difficulty level is 2. You actually talk to potential customer as an easy way to gain customer insights. It's a well-established practice. However, customers might tell you one thing in an interview but behave differently in the real world. So again, this is relatively easy. If you have a script ready and you are comfortable talking to people, you can actually just call somebody and do your interview. You can even start with your friends. Although a proper research should remove bias, and the problem with interviewing your friends, there is some bias with you already. So, and the way you ask questions is also part of how you do it when you're doing research. Now, the third is an anthropologist, which is a bit difficult, and What they do is to observe potential customers in the real world to get good insights on how they really behave. Study which jobs they focus on, how they get them done, note which pain points upset them, and um, which gains they aim to achieve. So this is interesting. In a customer experience. So let's go to Norman Nielsen's quadrant, customer research quadrant. Norman Nielsen research methods. So I'm thinking maybe I can relate these two different ideas. So there are research methods here. So if you are doing and maybe that's something I should ask. Remember, Ellie, you should ask about are you asking for behavioral versus attitudinal, qualitative versus quantitative? And if this is based off the question you want to find out, then match it with what kind of research technique you can apply. For instance, if it's the first one, if it's um, the data detective, for instance, you can do analytics because you might have the data of your internal customer, right? Yep. Excuse me. What is that? Commercial break. Yeah. So, going back here, if you are the journalist, where you talk to customers, it might be here. On the left, you're asking them. You're getting qualitative and attitudinal. What they say, attitudinal is what they say. It's qualitative. Now, it's very direct. Okay. Now, the next one is an anthropologist. So you observe customers in the real world, get insights to how they really behave. Normally, this is upper left quadrant, behavioral. How do they behave? And directly, you're directly looking at them. So quantitative, indirect, lots of numbers because you can do a lot of data collection, so it's indirect. Now, let's look at this, the fourth one. Impersonator. Be your customer, actively use your products and services. Spend a day or more in your customer's shoes. Draw from your experience as an unsatisfied customer. So, be the customer. Where would that be? Where would that be? Where would be focusing? If you want to be your customer, it's behavioral. You are also where is that participatory design, focus group interviews, customer feedback, and usability testing, ability to do panel studies, ethnographic fields. Yeah, it's a field study, right? It's market research because you are experiencing what your customers are experiencing. Interesting. Okay. Now let's look at co-creator. Oh, this is easy. It's participatory design. You are co-designing. Again, the limitation of this be close to the customer. Weakness is you may be generalizing to all customers, even just for one customer, but you may be getting a lot of good insights. If that, especially if that customer is the representative of the overall group of customers, which may be applicable to one of our teams in the office, since they are directly talking to their customers. Last one is the scientist. Get customers to participate knowingly or unknowingly in an experiment. Learn from the outcome. Okay, this approach is very, very much A/B testing. Do a lot of A/B testing. And an A/B test can be before and after, or two versions of a website, two versions of an app. And that's that. That is What's questionable for me is this role, the impersonator. This seems to be like market research. This is we have done this before, but it's not really clear here. Let's add look for market research. Research. Understand. You be the customer. Be the customer research method. Be the customer. Be the customer research method. Market research. So behavioral, because this time you are being the customer. You're trying to understand. Yeah, and it's direct, qualitative. It's directly you're feeling the, yeah, directly. And what do they experience? Yes, it's behavior. What are currently they are actually experiencing. Yep, interesting. So, and this six and they have exercises here. How to know your customer. Interviewing your customers, create a customer profile, create an interview outline, conduct the interview, capture, okay? Review the interview, search for patterns, synthesize. Nice. Okay. What else? Oh, shadow your customer for a day. We did that. So this is a interviewer. It's nice. It's cute too. Then you identify patterns in research, display, group, segment, synthesize, design. Yes, yes. Find your early evangelist. So this is a nice example of how to do customer research, getting customer insights. Okay, so that's the first part of what I wanted to do. The second part that I want to do is take the review briefly my notes on the rise of Superman. Rise of Superman is from this book. Okay, that's the book. That book. Decoding the Science of Ultimate Human Performance. And I took some notes last night while I was reading, because I want to learn more about the flow state. Getting to the flow state. It's flow because the sensation conferred it is flow. Every action, every decision lead effortlessly. Ah, nice. Make some notes. Rise of Superman. Take some quick notes here. Literature notes. Notes. Right. If you're not familiar, this is the tool that I'm using. Rome research tool that I'm using to do all this. So what are my main insights? Why is it called flow? Why is it called flow? Okay, why is it called flow? Because of the sensation. It's called flow because of the sensation. Because the sensation that every action, each decision leads effortlessly to the next. That's why it's called the flow. Okay. Flow naturally catapults you to a level you're not naturally in. Transforms a weakling to a muscle man, a sketcher. Flow is the doorway into we most of us seek, rather than telling ourselves to get used to it. That's all there is. Instead, learn how to get enter into the flow. Find the magical doses. The more flow, the more you need. So, as a knowledge worker like me, for instance, this is what I do. I am collecting knowledge, and then um, I'm like a information fisherman. I'm fishing for knowledge. The fish are all around me. It's information is all around me, and I fish. I cast my net. This is my net. I'm collecting certain fishes. These are my fishes, my highlights, and now I'm processing it. Now that's me as an information worker. Um, Getting into my flow as an information worker is to do the fishing effortlessly. So I catch, and it should feel robotic and automatic. Catch, debone, cook. So that's me as an information worker. And I think the more you do it, the more you practice it, you get to that state that um, the state that I was reading the other day. When was I reading it in my archives? Yeah, just the other day. Transient hypofrontality, which is a state of mind that you're not panicking, you're relaxed, just doing it. Everything seems to come effortlessly to you. And for me, when I'm teaching, when I'm conveying information, um, I realize I do this. I get into this state. This is my flow state, and I enjoy it. But to get to my flow state, I have to fish for that. Sometimes you are showing the wrong kind of fish. You're feeding people the wrong kind of food information, or it's not enough. It's not good enough. And that's the other part of it, being the chef part of it. The role of being the cook, that you should be making very great food. So this is food for the mind. Yeah. So interesting. What else can I process here? Um, and that's something I should note actually. Flow as knowledge workers. Knowledge knowledge workers. It's getting noisy. Someone is messaging me. I'm getting distracted, and that's an example of um, when you are online and people can easily message you. You can suddenly get out of your flow. You can be disrupted. Yeah, I have to think about this. Knowledge workers, we are like fisher, fishers, fishermen. We fish for information. I'll note this here, but I'll transfer this to some of my personal notes. We fish for information. We do this regularly. It becomes second nature. That second feeling, it becomes it feels easy, but there is still a bit of tension. The unknown risk of serving the wrong kind of fish, being proven wrong. The information that you serve. Huh, that's interesting. I like this idea that I wrote down. I would like to make sure I remember this. This is my analogy. Okay. 70% not engaged. See this. We already know the question. The other thing that we want is to generate flow. Flow directly correlates to happiness at work, and happiness at work directly correlates to success. Flow directly relates to happiness at work, and happiness leads to success. What is the relationship of flow to success? How is flow tied to success? How does flow tie to success? Success. So flow correlates to happiness at work, which also then correlates to success. Okay. And then I can actually see that 71% of Americans in a Gallup survey indicate that workers are not engaged or actively disengaged. And my takeaway here is that get into the flow. Get to the flow. This is my takeaway here, and I'll end this session here with this last note. Get to the flow and achieve success. This is my zettel for this session. My zettel in terms of the Zettelkasten note-taking method. Get to the flow, achieve success. And my source is The Rise of Superman. The Rise of Superman. It's a book. Let me just by Stephen Kotler. Stephen Kotler. Stephen Kotler. didn't come. Keywords is achieving success. Success. Yeah. Maybe related to farming habits. Relevant notes would be having a growth mindset. And these are my notes for this. I will copy this. Oh no, that's not my note there. And put my note here. My note here is how do we get to the flow? These are my personal thoughts. What is the flow state? How do we get to the flow efficiently? These are things that I think about. Normally, my literature notes are the summary. This as knowledge workers, I will move this to a personal note as well. This one, this particular, I will move it to my personal note as well. Once I get a more clear idea of what my takeaway for this is. Okay, so that's it for today. I will end today's session, and I will see you tomorrow. Also today I'm doing starting my 90-day Japanese challenge, so that I don't so I'm doing a language quiz. I'll separate the language part of my learning into another one, and then I also have a health related challenge. All challenges that I want to achieve by the end of the year. And that ends my session. Thank you for staying. Which I'm just talking to me right now. But Ellie, future self, this is important. Bye bye.